Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. How is anyone supposed to take Democrats seriously? I mean, when you really think about it, it's truly stunning that anybody votes for the Democrats or supports Democrats, let alone millions upon millions of people. I say that because most of their talking points and most of their campaigning efforts seem so incredibly stupid to the point where it's almost insulting to my intelligence. And this most recent student loan campaign from the Biden White House on Twitter is yet again another one to add to the list. The Biden campaign is asking people to text in how student loan forgiveness is affecting them, and they're releasing some of these totally legit, totally not fake text messages on Joe Biden's official presidential Twitter page. And of course, it's basically the cringiest thing you could possibly imagine. And we're gonna do what we usually do, roast this absolute nonsense, and of course roast Joe Biden and these lunatic Democrats. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so take a look at this. Clown show. Biden posts fake text message congratulating himself over student loan forgiveness. Joe Biden released this tweet right over here. Take a look at this message I received. Because of student loan forgiveness, Americans will be able to crawl out from under unsustainable debt and finally start thinking about saving for their first home. This text message right over here. Thank you, Mr. President. At 51 years old, my husband and I can finally start saving for our first home. I mean, I am in complete awe. We're supposed to believe that this is legitimate, that there happens to be a 51-year-old individual out there who had exactly $10,000 in student loan debt that was just forgiven, and that $10,000 student loan was the one thing holding this individual back for the last, 30 years or possibly even longer from being able to save up to buy a home. This is the most idiotic, self-congratulatory campaign I have ever seen. I mean, first of all, I'm completely convinced that it's fake, but second of all, I mean, the facts. Again, it's just idiotic, it's stupid, for the exact same reason that I pointed out in a previous video. I mean, think about the basic math, think about the basic logic. This individual, after 51 years, was unable to ever afford putting a down payment on a home or even thinking about saving up for a home, but now that her $10,000 student loan was forgiven, a measly $10,000, and I don't want to make it seem as if, $10,000 is not a lot of money, but I mean, if you really think about it, the reason I say measly is because $10,000 in student loan debt isn't going to make or break whether or not you're able to afford a home. If you're truly drowning in debt, $10,000 isn't really going to change that circumstance. And the idea that forgiving $10,000 in student loan is all of a sudden freeing people to be able to afford a home is completely ridiculous, considering the current state of the economy and the basic facts of 2020 to 2022. I showed you guys these numbers in a previous video. The median price of a home went up nearly $100,000 from 2020 to 2022. Yet all of a sudden, this 51-year-old individual can only afford a home now after having $10,000 in student loan forgiven. Is it just me, or is that the stupidest thing you have ever heard? Joe Biden forgave $10,000 in student loans for this individual, but also Democrats created this situation, this environment, where the average cost of a home is $100,000 more expensive than it was. Not to mention, that's just the asking price of the home, considering how bad inflation is right now and how the Fed needs to act in order to bring it back down to the target 2%. Interest rates are also the highest they've been in decades, which has nearly doubled the average mortgage payment that Americans now have to pay. I mean, let's do a little bit of basic math. Here's Fred data of median sales price of houses sold for the United States. From 2019 to 2020, we're looking at anywhere from $313,000 all the way to $320,000. So the low 300,000s. Well, that's now up currently to $440,000, more than $100,000 increase. So let's even go a little bit on the higher end. Let's say back in 2020, the average house of a home, $350,000, with the interest rate hovering anywhere from 2.68% to 3%. So let's just say 3% interest rate. Let's go to our little trusty mortgage calculator and type in $350,000 at an interest rate of 3% and a down payment of 20%. We're looking at a down payment of $70,000 and a total monthly payment of $1,463. All right, now let's compare home affordability after Joe Biden's student loan relief package. The average cost of a home currently $440,000, a 20% down payment and interest rate of, I think, near 6%. I think it dropped a little bit. Let me just check what the current interest rate is. It's looking like a 30-year fixed mortgage is 5.875%. So let's even go to 5.5% to be as charitable as possible. So we got 5.5%. And you know what? Let's even deduct $10,000 on the total cost, because people are saving $10,000 in student loan forgiveness. It's not exactly scientific. I could drop the actual down payment down $10,000, but whatever, it's really the same thing. We're going to try to be as charitable here as possible. Drop the home value by $10,000, drop the interest rate by a couple of fractions of a percentage, and let's calculate the total monthly payment. Required down payment, $86,000. Therefore, you're required to have $16,000 more than you were 2 years ago in liquid cash in order to currently afford the same home that you would have bought back then. And your monthly down payment for the same home would be $2,236. Meaning, in order to afford the exact same home from 2020 in 2022 currently, you would be spending $9,200 more a year in mortgage payments, just thanks to price inflation and the interest rate increase over the last 2 years. So who is this magical person that all of a sudden is able to afford a home because of the $10,000 student loan forgiveness? This person who apparently wasn't able to afford a home for the last 30 years of their lives, and now all of a sudden in the worst market imaginable thanks to Joe Biden, even though the $10,000 student loan forgiveness hasn't actually officially gone through yet, is now all of a sudden able to afford a home. Democrats are giving you $10,000, but not really giving you $10,000. They're just taking it off your student loans. But they've also created this environment, and it's not just Democrats, but just, Western liberals and Western liberal democracies have created this environment that's made housing so incredibly unaffordable that it's costing on average $9,200 more to buy a home now than it was 2 years ago, meaning you're spending nearly $10,000 more a year, but they want you to be happy about a one-time $10,000 voter buyout savings. That, of course, is going to make everything more expensive. It's going to make college more expensive. It's purely inflationary. In other words, Joe Biden and Democrat policies have made you significantly poorer to the extent that you're now over $100,000 behind in buying a home. Based on the asking price, you're thousands of dollars behind in being able to afford a mortgage. Food is more expensive, services are getting more expensive, gas is more expensive, everything is more expensive. He's about to make it more expensive with his ridiculous spending proposals, but he wants you to join him in celebrating $10,000 in student loan forgiveness, which is disproportionately going to affect already the most wealthy and top earners in American society. And he's doing so with clearly this fake text message from a non-existent human being, or a human being who is just so completely lost on the basic logic and basic numbers, basic math when it comes to, basic economics and finance. And it brings me back to the exact question from the intro. How is anyone buying this stuff? I mean, how is anybody not able to see through this clear political con job, not able to see the reality, the real numbers? It's truly astonishing. It's stunning to see millions upon millions of people lack the basic common sense and critical thought ability to see right through these dishonest Democrat games. I mean, it's a crazy thing to see these Democrats cause all of these problems. They give you $100, pat themselves on the back, and then people go crawling right back to them, voting for them again, allowing the cycle to continue. But that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you guys are up for it. I'm gonna get back to work though. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.